Hello, hello. In this lesson, we're going to learn Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze. Let's do it. Cool. Alright, and then the solo starts. Alright, so let's talk about it. So it starts with octaves. Okay, so we've got first finger 6th fret on the low E, third finger 8th fret on the D, and we're just going back and forth. See that? So 4 times of that. Alright. Now, sometimes people will play it like this. And the reason you hear it played like that sometimes is because the bass part is going. Alright, so some people will combine the guitar and the bass part together. And if you want to try that, alright, same first note, first finger 6th fret on the low E. And then we have here 2 notes, a little tritone, which you have 2nd finger 7 on the A with 3rd finger 8 on the D. You can do that. And that's combining the guitar and the bass part. You can do that 4 times if you like. Right? Okay? But in truth, Jimi is really just playing octaves at the beginning. Okay? Alright, so then into the next part of the intro riff we get. Alright, let's look at that. So now we're going to slide our 3rd finger from the 7th fret on the D to the 9th. Alright? First finger 7 on the G, and then 2nd finger 8 on the B with a slight little bend. Just put a little something on it, go up. So like, just a little bit to make it bluesy. And then to first finger 7th fret on the D. All right, so I'll do that slow. Start with a slide, 7 to 9. G string 7, B string 8, and then back to D string 7. Alright, and then slide that down 2 frets to 5th fret on the D. Now you can approach this 2 ways here. We're going to go, that's the next part. So you can either first finger 5th on the D to open, that'll get that done. Easy way to do it. And then to a low E open. So you got 2 open strings in a row if you want to try that way. 5th on the D, open D, open low E, and then a slide 5 to 7 on the A. So here it is. Now another way to do it, and I would recommend learning both ways because serious guitar players can do this either way. So you could do the same first note, first finger 5th on the D, and then roll to A string on the 5th. Now when you roll, you have to anticipate a little bit. Lay your first finger down on that 5th fret, but not on the tip as we normally would. Kind of lay it down so it can roll to the next string. So kind of flat fingered like that, and then just roll to the next string. And then you play the low E. So, or either way will work. Okay, so here it is. With a roll. And then it does it again, actually. So this time I'll do the open instead. All right. So, all right. So now the next part goes. All right. So let's look at that. So on the end of 4, 3, 4, and. So it anticipates the next measure. So you're going to go 3rd finger 5th on the A, sliding to the 7. All right, and first finger 5 on the D, and then 3rd finger 7 on the D. So here's. Now we have a bend, all right? Now you have a choice. You can either bend up or you can bend down. You've got room either way since it's the D string, but we got to bend up a whole step, which is a little tricky on a fat string like the D. So you got to use some energy, some strength. So it's got to go from the 7th to the 9th, right? So it's going to be this sound. So what we do, if you've never bent before, right? We're going to put our 3rd finger on the 7th fret, our 2nd finger on the 6th fret on the D. Yep, 2 fingers on the same string, and then our 1st finger even behind that on the 5th fret. So actually 3 fingers all on the same string, bending up or down. So you want it to sound like that, right? So you're gonna have, then put all 3 fingers down, and then 1st finger 5 on the D. All right, let me do that slow again. So the slide, 5 to 7, and to the D string, 5, D string 7, 3 fingers about to bend from 7 to 9. Or you could go either way, and back to 5. All right. All right. And then next phrase. All right. So good news. That's actually the same note again after the bend. So, right. So if you end that on 5 on the D, then play 5 on the D again. Now you have a choice. You can either do the open, like we did before, to the low E open again, but then it ends on 3rd finger. Sorry, 3rd fret, 1st finger on the low E. So. Very similar to what we did earlier, okay? Open. So you got, all right, and stay on that note again. Open D, open low E, and then 3rd fret on the E. Okay, now I did the open there, you could do the roll, right? So, watch again, see? Now I'm gonna roll it instead of the open, and then you do the open E, so. All right, so there's a lot of repetition actually in this intro as you're seeing. All right, and now the last part of the intro. All right, let's do that. So now there's an anticipated open A string, goes 3, 4, open A. All right, so that goes open A, and then a slide 5 to 7 on the A, and then D string, 5th fret again, and then right back to the bend, 7 to 9. Followed by a hammer-on. All right, so now with the hammer-on, we're going 5th to 7th fret on the D string, 1st to 3rd finger. And the thing with the hammer-on is we want both notes to be the same volume. So the first note's picked, and then the next note is hammered. So you're gonna be on the tip of your 3rd finger. Your finger acts like a hammer, hence the term hammer-on. And you want both notes to be the same volume. Your 3rd finger may not be as loud as the picked note, but do that several times so it'll be the same volume. So. Okay. All right, then. All right, last part, here it is. So back to 5th fret D, to open, a bunch of notes on the D string here, and then 7 to 9, slide with your 3rd finger. Okay. And then to the G string 7. And then you could either just slide it with your 1st finger. I'll just slide it with my 3rd, but either way, you're already on the 1st finger, so that would make sense. So, or you can even hammer it if you want. Here's that last part. Or you can do it 1st finger slide. So here's the last section of it. And that takes us into the verse, or the main part where he sings. So, all right, so let's look at that. So here we have, if you've never learned this yet, the Jimi Hendrix chord. This is E7 sharp 9. This is an attention getter chord if I've ever heard one. So E7 sharp 9 goes 2nd finger, 7th fret A, 1st finger, 6th fret D, 3rd finger, 7th fret G, 4th finger, 8th fret B. And do not play either E string, even though both E strings do work in this key. So we're gonna go open low E twice and then strum the chord. Try that. See that? All right, then the strumming pattern will go. So you're gonna go bass, bass, down, then up, up, down. I'll do it again. Bass, bass, down, up, up, down. And notice I'm bouncing on my fretting hand to make the notes slightly staccato. So like, see, kind of funky. The notes, rather the chords are stopping because I'm lifting up the pressure, right? I'm still touching the string, but I'm not touching the fretboard. I do that. So bass, bass, down, up, up, down. All right. Then he goes to. All right. So I need to talk about this because Jimmy fingers it differently than I do. Jimmy actually uses an F shape, slid up 2 frets, which is a G, and then he takes his thumb and he frets the bass note on the low E third fret, which I can't really do very well. I have students that can do that better than me, but just my hand doesn't want to do that. So if you want to try Jimmy's way, and John Mayer and other people do play this way now, so you just bring your thumb over to the 3rd fret, and then you just finger a normal G shape, which would be 3rd finger, 5th fret D, 2nd finger, 4th fret on the G, and then you bar the 3rd fret on the B and the E, right? And then you have that, so, right? So, I'm barely getting it out, right? And then you just slide that up 2 frets, and then you're gonna put your pinky down on the B string, 7th fret, and then pull off. A little R&B-ism there. So you got, watch me struggle, all right? So the way I like to finger it is I just take my 1st finger and bar all the way up to the low E string, keep the same shape of the chord, and this way I can just go, then slide up 2 frets. All right, so either way works, it's the same exact notes. So you either go, or, all right, and that's throughout the verse. All right, and then after he does the "Excuse Me While I Kiss the Sky," you have this. All right, let's look at that. So we've got 3rd finger, 9th fret on the G, slide from 9 to 11, and go back to 9, and then 1st finger 7. So, all right, and then just like the beginning of the song. So yeah, we just slide again that 7 to 9 on the D, 1st finger 7 on the G, and a slight bend on the 8th fret B. So here's again, I'll go slow. And D string slide. And then after that, it's kind of more the same. Then he just takes it up 2 frets. This is the pre-solo. You're gonna go. So let's look at that. So yeah, same slide on the D string, but now it's 9 to 11, 3rd finger, and then 9th fret on the G. And then instead of playing, he actually bends. He goes, and now we're gonna bend from 12 on the B to 14, and I would put 3 fingers on that B string, 1 on 12, 1 on 11, and 1 on 10. Okay, like we did earlier, but we're on the B string, so, and he does that twice. I'll slow that down. And then he takes that up 3 frets, and it's almost the same thing. From 12 to 14 on the D, 3rd finger. And then 1st finger 12 on the G. And then he just plays 15th fret on the high E. And that takes you into the solo. But those are all the rhythm parts and the pre-solo. Before we finish, I want to really encourage you to check out my video, actually 2 videos I did on the song. Every song that I teach, I do a video called "What Else Can We Do With This?" And this is to help you to understand what you just learned. Obviously, we want to learn the song first, but once we learn the song, like, what are we doing? What are all the music theory things? How can we apply this to other situations to help you move from being just a player to a musician? And we all parrot, we all learn songs at first, but then most of my students will ask me, well, what is this? Why does this work? So these videos are to help you really use these and bring them into other contexts and to help you become a musician. So definitely check out What Else Can I Do With This for Purple Haze. I actually did 2 because there's so much stuff to unpack in this song. And lastly, I played this song mostly all downs, right? Meaning all the single note stuff. Jimi, I'm guessing, probably does most of this all down because all down gives you power and down up gives you speed, and this isn't really a fast intro, and it'll be a little bit more in your face if you go all downs. But again, if you're not able to play this down up, I would highly recommend being able to do this alternate picked because, again, serious guitar players could play this either alternate picked or all downs. Well, that's Purple Haze. I sincerely hope this helps. Definitely check out my videos on what else can I do with this, and I'm already looking forward to seeing you next time.